Hey, it works. Oh, this is period 3. So, aside from tomorrow, my goal is tomorrow I have one final story I tell, but tomorrow's story is a fun story. It's about me getting into a fight. I got into one actual punchy fist fight, and it was in junior high, and it was in 8th grade, and I will tell you the story about what happened there. And no, that did not exist back when I was a kid. That came up much later. But today, let's see my final talk. Today's shirt is 2009 Heroes to you from that one. Field day, we're gonna go. I did send out all of the pictures on Student Square.
Oh yeah, I got it.
If that was your only way of getting it was on your iPad, then it was also sent out to parents, so you can talk to them. But
Hey, look, I see somebody there, and I see Mike, and I see another somebody.
Alright. So,
The Brovitalk.
can't miss you till you're gone. As we get into our final conversation, Brovitalk type thing, one, I have pictures I was going to show you. And so, with this one, that's 7th grade me, and then 8th grade me, and then this was my group of friends, so he was my bestest friend, who I'm still friends with today. And then Mark and Mike were my 2 close friends that I had through junior high, who then we separated because of me going a different direction. They had the popular kids because of their sisters, and then I could not because of my past. And then Dana was the girl I had a crush on, so I figured I would put that up there just to give you more ammunition to attack me. But that was me in 7th grade, and then 8th grade, and then showing you guys the same thing. Oh, and then the reason the wearing of ties was at our school. If you were on the football team, they made you dress up for pictures, so that in the school pictures, all the football players had ties on. So. I did not play in 7th grade. I did play in 8th grade.
What?
Hi, Willow.
Football pictures are really funny.
That you did this
What?
No, that was Joanna. That was in high school. Dana was just in junior high. Hi.
Why do all of them have, all of their last names start with B except for one person?
Because sometimes when you're in junior high, you make friends with kids whose lockers are right next to yours. And our lockers were right next to each other, so I think that probably helped us become friends. So these things happen. Henry, remember earlier when you Elaina'd yourself? It still happened. Alright, so I'm going to just sort of leave things up there behind me, although it does feel weird at the end of the year. I know, to not give you one last chance to yap. Oh, is it about you yapping? Hi, Henry.
So I also recognize that the 4 people with a B last name have a M first name.
Because of Mr.
Yeah.
And then Eric.
Sure.
Oh, because it has Mr. Brown. I didn't even think about him having the M there. How silly of me. Today, sorry. Today goes a little bit different. I have notes, unlike my other ones. My stories are easy for me to tell. They're just things that happen to me. As far as today goes, it's a little different for each class period, which is why I try to record each class as we go through. And I have like an hour and a half's worth of conversation, but only 30 minutes with which to talk. So I kind of have to cut things down. Hi, Finley. I do. I can get it for you. Yes.
You're selling!
That was that really threw me off. I was like, how was that balanced on there? That is one of the best exhibits. So today, as I go through this, there is every chance I may pause and have to look down. You guys do make it really tough to have a conversation, don't you? There's that whole ability to focus. Seems to be having a bit of a problem on that one. So, when I talked to my, years ago, when I ended up talking to my class where I told the story for that first time, what I followed up with was the talk I'm sort of going to give today. And this was the one that kids were wanting me to repeat, was that sort of end of the year conversation. Part of it is the story about me getting arrested, but apparently part of it was just me giving advice and talking. And that's what today becomes. honestly, at the beginning of class, you guys yapping and causing problems makes it a little bit easier on me, because today, much like the story about me getting arrested in high school, this is a tougher story for me to do, just because it hits a little closer to home. So letting you guys yap sort of made things a little bit easier for me and allowed me to put it off. So my whole year sort of leads up to today, with me being able to pass along advice and talk to you guys for this one. It's sort of why I run my class the way I do, in the fact that I sort of spend the whole year building trust, or at least I try to build trust throughout the entire year, to get to the end so that I can make an impression on you. And then me telling you guys the stories last week was, again, building trust. And I realized years ago when I started telling stories that it was weird for me to want to tell stories to you guys and to give advice, because I think if most of you had a teacher say, I want to tell stories about my childhood at the end of the year, or I want to spend a day just talking and giving you advice, most of you guys would just go and try not to deal with it. But the fact that kids willingly sit and talk to me, or sit and listen to me, means a lot. So, I want today's words to have weight. I want today's words to stay with you. And today's words won't impact all of you. I'll be honest. It's one of the things I've learned over the years, is I don't know who today impacts. I used to think I knew. I used to be able to, by the time I got to this point in the year, I used to be able to look around the room and be like, this kid probably needs to hear it, but this kid will be okay. And then kids would surprise me, because they would come back and talk to me in 8th grade, and they were the kids that I did not expect to come back and talk to me. So I've learned that I don't know which kids need to hear this today and which kids don't. And there's every chance for some of you, today's not going to be real useful. For some of you, today is just going to be a day where you get to sit and listen to me talk, and you're just sort of be wondering how anybody could take meaning from it. And then others of you, I have a feeling today might hit a little bit harder. But I don't know which of you is which. So I will talk today, and we'll sort of see which direction it goes. A little bit of background on me, because I realize that you guys only know me from this year and what I have presented to you in the class and what you guys have picked up from me and the stories about myself. Partly why I tell you guys the stories last week is I don't want you guys to ever think that I live a perfect life, or that I'm not someone who makes mistakes, because I make mistakes a lot, and that's part of what life is making mistakes. Life is not about not having trauma, not having pain, and never screwing up. Life is about screwing up, and how do you recover from it? Making a poor choice and learning how to fix your life from it. It's why I use Struggle Town in my class. I think Struggle Town is important in my room, because it helps you realize that you can screw up and make a choice, but it doesn't define you forever. Especially in my room, you can screw up and make a poor choice, and the punishment is temporary until you learn to fix whatever that thing is. So I tell you stories last week about me screwing up my life. But it goes deeper than that. Whenever I have kids come into my room and talk to me after school, and I tell them about my life, or they tell me about theirs, it's shocked to find out how often the trauma they've gone through I've also experienced. Like, I come from divorce multiple times. Both my parents have been divorced more than once. My mom has been divorced 3 times. My blood father, who was my dad when I was born, left when I was 7 and never came back. He's still alive. He's still out in the world and just wants nothing to do with me. And so, like, I know what that's like to go through life. I had alcoholism in my family growing up, with my grandparents. My mom's mom and dad on her side were horrible alcoholics. My uncle, my mom's brother, was in and out of jail and rehab for cocaine and marijuana and drugs of any sort. I've grown up with abuse. I've grown up with issues. And I tell you that at the end of the year because you guys have formed an opinion of me over the course of this year. You have formed an opinion of who I am. I want your opinion of me to be fully formed so that you know more about who I am and more about the background of what made me who I am. I listen when you guys talk in my classroom, and I listen when you guys talk in the hallways, and I listen when kids come into my room after school. And I pick up a lot more than I thought I would have when I was going through teacher college and going through school. That a lot more of my job is helping you guys become better versions of yourself. I think that version of my job is more important than me teaching English. As you guys leave my room and go on to 8th grade and go on to high school, you knowing English honestly isn't all that important. I mean, there's stuff out there that I want you to know, and there's stuff that you should be intelligent about, but you being a good human is way more important to me than your knowledge of English as you go out into the world. And I'm hoping my class has helped get you there over the course of this year. Everything I did in my room was with the goal of making you a better person. Whether it was making you stand when you didn't do work, or moving you over here to Struggle Town, or whether it was having behavior points in my class, or whether it was lying to you about a book that we read, or any of those things. My goal was I want you to leave my room a better person than when you came in it. And part of that is holding you responsible for your choices. And that's where the standing in my room and Struggle Town comes in, is realizing that when you screw up and make a poor choice, having someone hold you responsible for that choice. All right.
Stop looking at me. I was looking at you.
Okay. So my goal is for you to know that I come from a rough childhood. The reason I tell you that is I have picked up on the fact that I have students in my classes who go through rough childhoods. That it is easy to assume everybody has the same home life you do. It's what I assumed when I was a kid. In 5th, 6th, 7th, wasn't until about 7th, 8th grade I started figuring out the difference. But I assumed every kid had the same home life I did. Because when it's all you've ever known, it's what you assume everybody else has. So I assumed everybody came from divorce, and everybody had alcoholism in their family, and everybody had drug addiction in their family. But that's not true. But what I ask of you now is to realize your home life and your home situation is not what every kid goes through. And I have kids in my classes who have really good home lives. I have kids in this room who have really good home lives. The fact that you have 2 parents at home, the fact that you have parents who tell you they love you, the fact that you have parents who are involved in your life, the fact that you have siblings that you can get along with. If those of you who don't have abuse or pain at home realize not everybody has that, that what you have is good. Here's the tough part I'm going to ask you to accept. There are kids in your classes, there are kids in this room who don't have that. That there are kids who come through my class who struggle at home. I know I hear you guys joke and talk in my room about looking forward to summertime. That you guys count down that we have 2 more days until you guys get to be home all summer. What I don't know if you guys realize is that I have kids in my classes who dread summertime, who sit in my room after school in tears because summer's coming. And they don't want summertime to happen because summer's not happy for them, because they have to be at home all summer. And their home is not a happy place because they have parents who are mean to them. They don't get to go home to a family that is nice to them. They have parents who don't let them be who they want to be. And for them, being at home is not happy. And for them, summertime is not a happy thing. And that's tough for a person to handle. And that's what I ask of you guys, is two things. One, those of you who do have a decent home life, those of you who do have happiness in your life, those of you who this talk today may not be fully applying to, you have to realize that there are kids who sit next to you who struggle every day. There are kids who sit next to you who are not happy, who have trauma, who have depression, who have anxiety, who struggle. And you often won't know it because people wear masks at school, because they don't want you to see the pain that they're in. And a lot of times the easiest way to hide that pain, to hide that struggle that they have at home, is acting out in different ways. Sometimes it's by being a class clown. Sometimes it's by being the smart kid because you want to control everything. Sometimes it's because you're a behavior problem, because you can't control other things in your life. Sometimes it causes you to be a bully and you are mean to other kids because you don't know how to handle it. So I'm going to ask you to do something that is going to be tough for you to do, because it's tough for every human to do, and that is to forgive other people. Because moving forward in life, you are going to be around other people who are mean to you. There are always going to be mean people in this world. Whether you are a kid, whether you are in high school, whether you are an adult, mean people aren't going away. And the reason mean people aren't going away is because sadness and trauma and anxiety and pain is not going away. As long as those exist, there will be people who have to deal with them. And you either let the evilness and negativity that's around you bring you down, or you learn to forgive and move past it. Also, those of you going through the pain, those of you who are struggling, those of you who have that tough home life, who are dealing with anxiety, who are dealing with the parents who are not the way they should be, I'm also going to ask something of you, and that is to not let your trauma define you, to not let the pain in your life define you, to not turn to pain and anger when you are upset. And it's not easy to do. It's real easy to turn to the awful things and to be mean to other people, but I ask you not to. I ask you to find a way past it. If other kids can find a way to forgive the kids being mean to them, can you forgive the people who were mean to you? And think about it this way, as far as the kids who have those tough home lives. If I were to ask you now, are there kids at our school who are bad kids, who are mean kids, who are kids that you think are messed up and are evil or awful to others? If they exist, they grow up to become an adult. One of the toughest things that I had to learn was that adults don't get magically fixed when you get older. I thought when I was a kid that when you became an adult, you figured stuff out. Like, you learned how to not be a jerk. You learned how to not be mean. And that's not what happens. Kids who are screwed up kids become screwed up adults. Those kids you see in your classes are that way because of an adult in their life. No kid learns to be mean. No kid learns to be awful and a bully on their own. They learn it from someone else. It's a thing that is passed down to them. And it comes from broken parents. And some of you have to realize not every parent is perfect. Not every parent is good. Some parents are screwed up. Some parents are bad. And some parents are abusive to their kids. And one of those abuse things I wanted to talk about is something I don't think kids are aware of, or don't seem to be aware of, which is you guys are aware of self-harm, and you are aware of physical self-harm, because I've seen it with cutting and stuff like that. But you have to realize that physical self-harm is not the only self-harm that exists. It is not the most common form of self-harm. It is not the most common self-harm in 7th grade. There are other ways to inflict pain on people. And think about that with yourself. You can hit somebody, but that's not the most painful way to hurt somebody. If you want to hurt somebody, you say words to them. You cut them to the soul. You make fun of them in a way that they think about. Because think about your own times that you've been bullied. The own times where bad things have happened to you. Is it the kid hitting you that stays with you? Or is it the comment that stays with you? Is it the emotional thing of having someone ignore you that stays with you? Physical abuse is easy to see, but it is not the most common. What I see you guys doing is mental self-harm, where I see you guys badmouth yourselves, where I see you guys talk about how you don't feel you are worthy, or you don't feel that you are equal to someone else, or you don't feel you are good enough, where you talk bad about yourself. How is that not a form of self-harm? How is that not you damaging yourself? And that's what scares me, is I see kids doing that in any number of ways, and especially in my advanced classes, where I see you guys put pressure on yourself to be something that you don't have to be. Just because you're in an advanced class or an AP class, you've tried to live your life according to other people. And that's not what you need to do. You need to live your life how you want to be, how you want to live. Along those lines, you guys have seen me this year at Camp Tecumseh, in my classroom, how I wear my hair, the fact that I have had painted nails throughout this year. I don't care what people think about me. I don't care what people say about me. But I wasn't always that way. Like, that was a thing I had to learn over the years. When I was in junior high, I very much cared what other people said about me. I very much cared about the opinions of others. And it wasn't until I was in high school and I had an event happen that I learned it was the opinions of others should not shape who I am. So here's my worry for you guys. This class, my third period this year, with how I've seen you guys this year. You guys are good kids. Like, I really like this third period a lot. And you guys are in the process of figuring out who you are. As I've watched this class this year and watched you guys interact with each other, it's been a safe place as far as watching you guys develop who you want to be. And it has been fun for me to watch you guys figure out who you want to be. Do you want to be the outgoing kid, the quiet kid, the goofy kid, the fun kid? That's what I've watched you figure out this year. So my question is, as you guys move on to next year, as you guys go to 8th grade, what is stopping you from being who you want to be? What is stopping you from being the version of yourself that you want to be? Outgoing, odd, different, athletic, smart, funny. Are you worried about what other people are going to say about you? Are you worried about what other kids in your classes are going to say about you? If you are, why? Why do you let the opinion of another person control you? Why would you let the opinion of somebody else dictate what you do in your life? Like, if you take anything from my class this year, that's what the big thing would be. I want you guys to be you. I want you to figure out who you want to be, and I want you to embrace it. I want you to proudly be whoever that version is of you, and not worry about it when you wear an outfit to school, and not worry about it when you act a certain way in class. Don't worry about what somebody else is thinking about you or saying about you. Think about, how are you impacting the world? How are you making the world a better place or a worse place? And if you doing your thing is not making the world worse, who cares what someone else says about you? People will make fun of you no matter who you are. Find any famous rich person and someone will say something negative about them. You cannot let other people's anger control you. You cannot let other people's vision of themselves control you. So speaking of that, and you controlling your own destiny, your own path. The thing I thought about this year was the few times I was absent and other teachers being absent, and watching your guys' reactions to me being absent versus other teachers being absent. And oftentimes you guys were upset with me being absent and you'd rather have me in the room than have me not in the room. And that doesn't always seem true about other teachers. Where other teachers, you guys can come in and you seem to be excited when you have a sub. And that got me thinking about an old saying, which was, when someone walks into the room, there are 3 ways people will react to it. When you see someone walk into the room, are you excited that they're there? Are you upset and disappointed that they've come in? Or do you not notice that they've walked into the room? That applies to everybody. Think about any other person when they walk into the room. Think about a teacher when they walk into the room to start. When that teacher walks in, are you excited for that teacher to enter the room? Are you happy that the class is going to start and what's going to occur? Or are you upset? And you're like, man, that teacher's in here. Now we have to learn whatever this thing is. Or does the teacher come in and you barely notice? I'm hoping that when I come into the room, that it makes it a positive place. That you guys are happier when I come in. But realize that applies to you. How do people react when you come into a room? When you enter the room and people look up to see you, are they excited? Are they happy? Do you bring positivity into that room? Or do they look up and see you and get upset? Do they look up and see you and think, oh, there's that kid, and you bring negativity with you? Or do they look up and see you and not notice, and you just come into the room and you sit in the back and you disappear? You have control over that. You get to control what impression you have on other people. Now, you can't control other people, and you can't control every person, but you can control how you interact with the world. Are you a positive, happy person? Do you smile at others? Or do you unleash fury, anger, anxiety, and negativity upon them? Think about that as you guys go into next year, as you guys go into high school. Controlling your path as you move through it. I had mentioned before that one of the tough things for me is at the end of the year, I realize I'm not going to see some of you guys again. After tomorrow, I only see you if you choose to come see me. If you don't want to interact with me again, then after tomorrow, we don't. And for me, that's tough, because regardless of how you perceive our relationship in class, I like you. I like every kid in this room. I've paid attention to every kid in this room and interacted with all of you. And I want happiness for you. But I can't make that decision for you. I can talk to you. I can try to help guide you. But ultimately, only you guys can make that decision on what you want to be. And from me talking to my past kids, I've realized that a lot of you guys have paths in front of you. You have a dark path and you have a light path, a happy path and a path of sadness. And for some of you, the light path, that the path of happiness and joy, is very wide. And the fact that I think that there are a lot of good things going for you in your life. And I don't think there's much of a chance of you stumbling and going down the dark path. And everyone's dark path is different. Sometimes it's drugs, sometimes it's alcohol, sometimes it's just video game addiction, sometimes it's trying to drop out of school, sometimes it's bullying other kids. Whatever it is, your darkness is when you are doing those awful things because you need it to in your soul. Going back to Edgar Allan Poe and the Black Cat, that sometimes people do awful things because it's part of human nature. That's your dark path. Some of you don't have a dark path yet. Some of you, your dark path is coming. Some of you, it's not going to hit you until 8th grade when something hits your family. Or it's not going to hit you until high school when there's a friendship issue that occurs and you're going to have to make that choice. For some of you, the conversation we have today has very little impact. For others of you, today means a lot more. But with all that, I've learned the two paths in front of you. Some of you guys have the wide good path. Some of you guys have a very wide dark path. I can't choose which path you're going to follow. Only you can choose that path. I can bump you. I can try to help guide you. I can give you advice, and I can offer to be there for you. But ultimately, you are going to make this decision with what you want to do. In my class this year, I've also realized that I play different roles for different kids in my class. For some of you, you just needed a class period where you could be happy. And it was just third period enjoyable English, and you got to laugh and smile, and you got to kick back and enjoy yourself. For others of you, you needed a trusted adult, and you needed that person that you could come talk to that would make you feel better in this world. Others of you needed a friend, and you just needed someone to be nice to you because you don't have it often enough. Others of you needed advice, and you have come to speak to me, and I've been able to help guide you. Some of you needed discipline, and you needed me to be that adult who sees goodness in you when no one does. I don't know for each and every one of you what role I served or if I even served a role for you. But I will tell you this. My door is always open. I never turn my back on any past student who has come through my room, regardless of whatever connection you think you have with me. If you ever hit that dark spot in your life, if you've ever hit that dark time and you don't know where to turn, I will be there. I am happy to listen, whether it is in person, whether it is through email, through social media, or whatever it is in the world. Know that there is somebody who is out there who is willing to listen to you and to try and help you become a better person. Some of you will need me, and some of you won't, and I'm happy with whichever path you guys go down moving forward. As you guys get to 8th grade, as you guys go on to high school, I just want to say thank you for this year. I had a good year overall across all of my classes, and it's weird as a teacher where different years have different impacts on me. The current sophomore kids, who were the ones that were your counselors for Camp Tecumseh, almost got me to quit teaching. And I told them that. I was very honest with them, where it was a year that was very rough for me, where I did not feel I was making connections to kids, and I did not feel that what I was doing was worthwhile. And it was at the end of the year where I told them that I had considered leaving teaching and going in a different direction. I didn't, obviously. But this year has not been that way. I've had struggles. I've had issues. But you guys, overall, if I were to put you into any other of my years of teaching, you would be hands down one of my top students that I've had in any other year. And that makes me worry, because you guys, this group of kids, you guys have a real chance to change the world in a way that I have not seen with other groups that have come through. That you guys have real power if you choose to do it. And partly what scares me with you guys at times is your willingness to let others control you. And you guys are way too smart and way too powerful to willingly let others control you. And by not wanting to read, by not wanting to learn, by not wanting to be better versions of yourself, you let other people define you. You let other people determine who you're going to be. And that scares me because you guys are powerful. You guys are a group of kids that I think could have a definite impact on the world if you choose to do it. If you choose to be that force of good in the world, I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing you guys become my Camp Tecumseh counselors. I look forward to seeing you guys go into high school and figure out who you want to be. I look forward to seeing the paths that you guys are going to choose as you guys move forward. I don't know if this year changed you. I don't know if today has had an impact on you. But overall, I appreciate you guys being in my class and a part of my journey this year. So, that's all. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for being who you guys are.